Everybody, BK with Masada Tactical here with another video. I wanted to start by thanking everybody that has been watching the videos and giving me feedback. You're asking good questions, good conversations going on the different social media outlets on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and so forth. So I do appreciate all of that. And the video today, actually, we're going to divert from our usual flow of vehicle counter ambush and EDC videos because I want to address a comment that came up, and actually several people mentioned it after they saw a video I posted recently. So here's the video that was showing up that raised all the questions.
Front!
So the main point or the main issue that people had with that video is the exaggerated elbow up. Obviously the drill is down on the range, we going around a person, simulating either dignitary protection or just any other obstacle that I gotta get around and engage a threat. Inducing some stress, it's raining, it's muddy, people just did push-ups and sprinted and so forth. And the idea is to get still shots on target. And the main comment I had is when people were watching, I was drawing for the appendix, I'm gonna draw from the waist right now. But the elbow came way up as I was punching it forward, and people were saying that that's exaggerated movement, that I would be better off if my elbow was here and I was shooting from the waist up. So I wanted to address that. I did write an article, elbow up or elbows down, that is posted on LinkedIn if you guys want to go and read it. I'm finding that some people prefer a video over actual going and reading the written word. So I wanted to address why I bring the elbow up, and then I'm going to show you the differences between the two. So let's start with the spiral, all right? The whole idea behind point shoot or indexing is me pointing my finger at my threat, right? So since we're AI, we learned that if I point a finger at something, that's just kinesiology, body mechanics, right? I know that my finger is going to be roughly on that object I'm pointing at. With that said, under stress specifically, when I want to incorporate gross motor skills, I don't want to count on looking at sights. I want to get a spiral. That spiral is my aiming mechanism essentially. So think about throwing a football, right? Once I have that spiral, that ball goes in a straight line. Same thing with the flechettes on an arrow. The spiral inside the rifling in the bore of your own gun, right? The whole idea of that is to give the projectile a spiral so it goes straighter, right? Because under stress, we do realize that with endorphins and adrenaline being dumped into the bloodstream, my vision is going to be blurry, right? One of the things that happen is my pupils dilate. I won't be able to see sights as well. So I don't want to count on that. So specifically in a CQC environment where my trade-off is speed versus accuracy, I want to not count on sights, give up a little bit of accuracy so I can get shots on target a lot faster. So I do that by getting a spiral in. And by getting my elbow up, I'm actually getting that spiral into that movement and making sure that I am spot on target. The other thing is what we call the absence of an arc. So think about your arm this way. There are three joints here, the wrist, the elbow, and the shoulder, right? And if I count from my waist up, there's an arc introduced into the movement, right? Okay, there's no other way to go around it, think levers, right? But if I bring the gun up and I punch it straight forward, that arc is absent. So regardless of where I'm depressing the trigger all the way throughout that motion, I'm gonna be straight on target, right? Pa, 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 pa. Right? Versus here, pa, 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 I'm zipping upwards, and depending on the cant of my wrist at that precise moment in time, I may shoot up, I may shoot down, right? And that is unacceptable in a combat environment, right? I still account for every round that leaves my firearm, correct? Next one is recoil management, right? So here, depending on my deltoid, a small muscle group to control the recoil of the gun. By driving it forward, I'm using my pec, significantly stronger and larger muscle group, which allows you to control recoil a lot better. The other thing that happens when I shoot one-handed, okay, because of the little cant, okay, that cant in the wrist, all right, I'm actually controlling recoil a lot better, all right? So honest truth is that those of you that have been in shootings and so forth, I hope not many of you, but you have, you may be able to relate to this, to the fact that more often than not, I don't have two hands on the gun. A lot of my shooting is going to be done one-handed. I'm either in a stack and one hand is holding a body, moving them out of the way, I'm holding on to something, I'm dragging someone, there's other stuff in my other hand, right? A lot of what I do is done one-handed. So I need to be able to do that and control that recoil one-handed as well. Even firearms instructors that do advocate elbow down would still teach to cant that wrist in just a little bit at the moment of when that shot is fired. Next one is visual stimuli, right? So we're all familiar with the OODA loop: observe, orient, decide, and act, an acronym, right? And all I did behind the OODA loop is whenever there's a new variable introduced into the environment, my brain has to play catch up. It has to reorient itself based on the new piece of information. So when I come with the gun from my waist, and if I'm looking at target the way I should be looking, as my gun comes up, now there's a new visual stimuli introduced into that box that I was looking at. Okay, so into my target frame, okay, there's a gun showing up, and my brain has to play catch up. Even though I know that gun is going to be coming up, and even though I know I'm the one introducing it, there's something happening that my brain is like, okay, there's a gun here, let me account for it right now. When I bring my elbow up, that gun is already in that frame. I don't have to reaccount for it, it's already here. And as I punch forward, all I'm doing is bringing that same object that was already there closer to my thread. That is it. So there's no loss of time essentially used on that brain processes going on. The analogy I give people is think about your cell phone, right? If you have 4 or 5 names, your brain can find that name really quickly, right? But if I had 1,000 names in my contact list and I have to scroll down to find the right name, it's going to take a while, right? That's the way my brain works under stress. It's trying to find out the quickest solution to that problem, and the more options I have, the longer it takes. Which brings me to my next point, which is consistency under stress. Right, so think about shooting in a vehicle, since we've been talking about vehicles a lot lately. All right, so think about shooting inside a vehicle. I have a dashboard, I have a window, I have my steering wheel, and if I'm drawing and introducing that gun, I have to clear everything that is in my way, right? So I can't shoot from here, right? I'm gonna have to bring the gun high and punch it over, correct? So if I'm gonna do that inside a car, why not do it outside a car? Why have 2 different skills, and now my brain has to think which one is the more appropriate skill at this point in time? If I only know one skill and I can replicate it inside a car, outside a car, over a car, under a car, standing, sitting, prone, whatever it is, it's always the same, I'm gonna be a lot faster. So let me address the point that people are bringing up. They've been saying that by me bringing my elbow up, there's a lot of wasted movement and I'm actually slower in presenting the gun and hitting my thread. The reality is, in my mind, I'm actually quicker. And this is what I mean. If I'm drawing my gun, the first thing I gotta do is clear my holster, right? So my elbow is already up. So all these people, they're advocating it that at this point, I would drop my elbow and extend my arm forward, right? So essentially, they're asking me to add another movement where in theory, all I had to do from here is point the gun forward and punch. In reality, me coming here and punching forward is not only faster, but also more accurate, right? I'm avoiding all the issues that we discussed earlier, and I'm going with my body's natural response and natural mechanics. I'm not fighting myself, I'm going with myself. Our body doesn't work by keeping elbows in. I know this came from, let's try to make yourself a small target, walking in hallways, clearing rooms and whatever. The reality is that arms are flared out. Movement includes elbows moving out of the way. So I'm just working with my body's natural motion by introducing the gun and raising my elbow up and punching forward. I hope I was able to clarify myself. Again, I'm not trying to be condescending to anybody. If you're used to shooting with elbows in and it works for you, by all means, keep doing that. If you're hitting a target, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. All I'm trying to show is another tool. It works for me, it works for the guys we train, either American law enforcement or Israeli military or whichever other agency that we train and work with. It works, right? Specifically under stress, right? Again, we're talking combat, I'm not talking competition, I'm not talking bullseyes, I'm talking about putting rounds downrange as quickly as I can. One last point shoot or indexing or combat shooting, depending on who you talk to and how you call it, it is not the end all be all. It is means to an end. My goal is to put shots downrange as quickly as I can, and I do that by not wasting time on dropping elbows, on looking for sights or anything like that. I'm just spiraling it in, and now I can regroup, get behind cover if I need to, if I'm not there yet, look for sights and get those precision shots. It is just a step on my way to making those shots even better, right? My goal is to just shoot, stop the threat, and move on, right? So I hope I was able to explain myself. If not, definitely ask me more questions. I'm not gonna get insulted if you don't like or you don't agree with my tactics. That's just the way that works for me. Has worked for me since, I don't know, 1993, so it's been a while. That's about it, all right? If you have any questions, shoot them over either on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or via email, bk@masadatactical.com. Stay safe, watch your six.